been placed around the property. One email called for Shenyang performances to be cancelled. The group is made up of dancers fleeing persecution from the Chinese government. Mr Albanese says it's a reminder of the need for civil political discourse.
I think it's just a reminder. Take every opportunity to tell people, turn the heat down, for goodness sake. We can't take these things for granted. Just turn it down.
US President Donald Trump spruiked his immigration record during today's State of the Union address to Congress. He asked everyone who agrees the government's first duty is to protect American citizens, not illegal immigrants, to stand up. Democrats remained seated. Trump fired back when he was heckled.
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. Block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Police are continuing to investigate 2 indecent assaults in the Norwood Toorak Gardens area on Friday night. 2 different women were approached by an unknown man while out walking. He fled on foot. They weren't physically injured. Police believe the same man was involved. He's described as tall, bald or with thinning hair and was wearing an olive T-shirt and black shorts. Detectives have today released CCTV footage of the suspect and his red hatchback. The opposition is blaming persistent cost of living pressures on excessive spending by the Albanese government. New figures show annual inflation was steady at 3.8% through the 12 months to January. Housing continues to be the biggest pressure point for families, with the cost of electricity and rent stubbornly high. Liberal leader Angus Taylor says spending cuts should be a priority ahead of the May budget.
We see today the Treasurer and the Finance Minister finally admitting that their spending, that their big government agenda, that their heavy-handed government regulatory agenda is impacting our economy, driving up prices and driving up inflation.
Woolworths has raked in a massive $859 million profit over the past 6 months, a jump of more than 16%. The result was fuelled by expanding margins as the supermarket prepares to fight claims it misled customers with fake savings. The ACCC is currently investigating the chain for illusory pricing practices. Now turning to 5AA Sport, and the Crows head west for their pre-season game this weekend. They face Fremantle on Saturday. Max Michelani, who's just re-signed with the club, is looking forward to it.
Yeah, the connection within the group's outstanding. I love being a part of the group. So much fun, especially those away trips. It's a real highlight for us, especially young boys. Got a good crew there, and we like hanging out together. So we got maybe 4 days down in FIVEAA, and we're excited for that.
Porter in action on Sunday against West Coast. Meantime, Bailey Smith won't play in Geelong's practice match against Carlton tonight due to a calf injury. And Adelaide United players have trained today ahead of Friday night's grudge match against the Melbourne Victory. The Reds are in good form, having won 4 of their past 6 matches, and will be looking for another 3 points to stay in touch with the top 2. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Afternoon, a dry creek, a breakdown on the north-south motorway near the Wingfield interchange. Pretty busy at the moment at Salisbury Heights, the Grove Way near Green Valley Drive, and really slow for those ongoing works at Flinders Park, Holbrooks Road near Grange Road. I'm sure those works will be finished sometime this century. Cameras, Days Road, Croydon Park and Kelly Road at Modbury North. Look for the RAA sign at over 400 independent RAA-approved repairers across SA. You know you can trust them because RAA do. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast, sunny this afternoon, mostly sunny tomorrow 32, Friday a shower or 2 33, Saturday a possible morning storm and showers 29. Right now it's 27 degrees. Now let's hear what's happening on 9 News tonight.
I'm Brenton Raglas. Tonight, the former Mercedes College student facing new Commonwealth deepfake laws. See Port Adelaide's bold move to secure its financial future. Why 3 Adelaide schools were sent into lockdown. We revealed just how long it takes Adelaide buyers to save for a first home. And the new cream boosting women's libido. 9 News. Your news. 9th at 6 on 9 and on 9 Now.
Kia's summer offers just got hotter with incredible value on 2025 build models at your Kia dealer now. Whether it's the full electric experience or the hybrid adventure you're after, Kia has you covered with the World Car of the Year EV3 now starting from $46,990 drive away. And the new hybrid Sportage from only $44,490 drive away. Hurry in for these incredible Kia summer offers at your Kia dealer now.
Kia, Movement that inspires.
My special guest is Dr. Marty from the Royal Flying Doctor Service. Hello.
Hi, Matthew.
Can you tell us a bit about what you do?
Yes, I oversee the care that all of the doctors and our flight nurses provide for patients across South Australia and the Northern Territory. So that's linking in our health workers in the field, our patients in remote communities, regional hospitals, and anyone in need of a retrieval team across Outback SA.
And how does Double Up for the Doc Day help?
Well, March the 5th is Double Up for the Doc Day, where your donation will be matched dollar for dollar by some really generous partners. This is going to help us equip a new aircraft with vital medical equipment, just like inside an ICU, ventilators, monitors, and so much more that our patients need.
Thank you, Dr. Marty. To keep our Royal Flying Doctor Service flying, they really need our support. And Double Up for the Doc Day is a great opportunity to make your support go further. That's March 5. Please donate at flyingdoctor.com.au.
Streaming live via the 5AA Player app on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. This is 5AA, always Adelaide. 5AA Afternoons with Stacey Lee.
Welcome to the third and final hour of the afternoon's program. Make sure you stay listening. This hour I have Fringe tickets to give away. And after 3:30, we're going to hear a little bit more about Alberton Square, a new development in Port Adelaide that's going to be undertaken by the Port Adelaide Footy Club. It's going to be homes, residential, there'll be apartments there, there'll be a commercial space, health precinct area. So exactly what are they going to be building? Can you buy into it? Will it be rented? Who will be your landlord? If you forget to pay your rent, is David Koch going to come after you? How's it all going to work? We'll find out. We've got Matthew Richardson, the CEO of the Footy Club, on after 3:30. But before we talk about that, a couple of days ago, if you were listening on Monday afternoon, it was around this time, David from Glenelg called in and he was really worried about one particular part of the education system.
Because I was at my daughter's graduation, I saw the principal raving what wonderful students they were, and I decided to go and speak to a deputy principal after, and I said, why doesn't my daughter know her times tables after doing Year 12 maths?
Oh.
And I said, I don't think 50% of students would know their times tables. And he said, it's probably more. He said, it's probably 90%. And I said, why? And he said, they don't teach. He said, that's the junior primary school's job, and he said that they don't teach rote learning times tables anymore, and he said it's 90% of high school graduates.
Now, it sounded a little bit strange to me that kids in primary school or high school weren't learning their times tables, so we thought we'd follow up on that and get some answers. And the Chief Executive of the Education Department, Professor Martin Westwell, joins you now this afternoon. Good afternoon, Martin. Thanks for your time.
Good afternoon, Stacey.
Is it true? Are kids not learning times tables anymore?
No, of course not. Multiplication is a really important part of the curriculum, really important part of students' learning. There's so much that builds on it. So it's absolutely a core part. One of the things that perhaps that they don't do, that perhaps we did a little while ago, is, that chanting of tables, the kind of 177, 2sevens14, that kind of thing. Because that's not super helpful. What we want for our students is definitely to practice their multiplication, because what I want them to do is when I say 6 sevens, not that they go through 177, 2sevens14 and make their way to 6, but they know 42. It just pops into their head. They've got it automatically without even thinking about it. I want them to have practiced it so that they've got that, because that's going to be really important for their future learning.
Okay, so if it's not being taught in the way that, probably you and certainly I was taught, where you sit down and you're memorising, how is it being taught?
Well, there's lots of ways to practice those multiplication facts. Those, when we say times tables, it sounds like it's this kind of, big table of chanting. It is the times tables. It is those same multiplication facts. There's lots of ways of practicing those. Of course, things like, even simple things like flashcards or, even with our interactive whiteboards, being able to flash up a multiplication, let's say 6 7s on the screen, and for the students to respond to that and be able to say 42. We know that things like some of our teachers, when the student's been particularly struggling, might spend a bit of extra time with them and throw a ball to them and say 6 7s, and they can't throw the ball back until they've got 42. And what that helps is increasing that speed. And then for those students who really are struggling with getting their mental arithmetic automatic in this way, we've also got an intervention program called Quick Smart that schools draw on for students between year 4 and year 9. And that's a kind of intensive program. And one of the things that I love about that program is that we do see that students start to fall behind if they've not got this mental arithmetic. But when we do the intensive program, we get them back on track, they achieve and grow just like the rest of the students. And so we are really investing in this and making sure that our students have got mental arithmetic, including those multiplication facts.
So the Quick Smart program, is that something that parents have to apply for, or is that a teacher-led thing where they'll identify students who maybe need a bit of extra help?
Yes, it's often done as a withdrawal. So students might take a little bit of time out of a class and just practice, get some extra practice through this program if they need it. It's not for all students; it's just for those who need it. Take a bit of time getting this extra practice, and then go back into the class, because we know that investing in that in the school really helps the students. So it's not something that parents have to pay for or apply for. It's just something that our schools, when they find that they have got some students who are perhaps struggling with some of that mental arithmetic, can bring into the school and support their students.
And is it done separate to regular classes or outside of school hours? Is it a bit like tutoring or something different?
Yeah, so it's done during school hours, but that's the intervention, right, for those who perhaps have been in class and perhaps need a little bit more help. The main game is in our classrooms when maths is being taught clearly in the curriculum, and it builds from year 2 to year 3 to year 4, where more and more is expected of our students in terms of those multiplication facts. It's really clearly set out in the curriculum. So it's going on every day in our classrooms, particularly in years 2, 3 and 4. Okay.
What advice do you have for parents out there, like David, if they are worried that their kids aren't getting aren't keeping up or don't have the skills or the learning that that the parents think they should have?
Well, look, I think this is going on in all of our schools, as I say. Sometimes it is talking to the teachers and just saying, I think that they're struggling with this a little bit. Sometimes it's about not making assumptions. So, this idea around, what used to go on. So some of these kind of chanting times tables, and then perhaps expecting that in the classroom, and then saying, oh, that's not happening anymore. They mustn't be teaching this. Actually seeing, well, what is going on? How are the children learning multiplication? So, perhaps asking a question before making an assumption. But of course, there's lots. This is a great area for parents to help children with, because it is as simple as just, like that example I gave you with throwing the ball. Standing in the garden, throwing the ball, doing some times tables, doing some other mental arithmetic. That's something that's really easy to do, and just adding a little bit of extra practice to make sure that our children, our students, have got that not just being able to answer a test and being asked what 6 7s is and then working it out somehow and writing it on the page, but they've got that quick response and building up that speed. That's really important, and parents can really help.
Are you picking 6 times 7 on purpose, Martin Westwell? I'm just picturing all the kids in cars at the moment getting picked up from school, and you keep saying 6 7, and they're all sitting there with their arms in the air going 6 7, 6 7.
You know what? I wasn't, but I think it might have subliminally got into me.
It's been going through my mind every time you mention it. So no doubt it is for so many other people listening as well. But you mentioned the different ways there that you can practice times tables at home. Leith in Happy Valley has sent a text with a great tip, and I know this is one that my nephews have had over the years. For my son, I put the times tables on the back of the toilet door when he was young, so he learnt on the job. There you go. Although maybe that's not great. Is it encouraging kids to stay on the toilet a bit too long? Maybe it's encouraging them to get out of the loo quickly. I don't know. It depends who you are. So there are lots of different ways to learn. I remember even, sitting at the dinner table and it would be how much of that milk bottle is there? Is it 1/3? Is it 2/3? Or if you've got this many Brussels sprouts on your plate, if you wanted 3 times that, how many would you have? So little things like that.
Yeah, all of those things can help. All of those conversations, that estimating that you were talking about there, about is it a third? Is it a half? That's a really important skill as well, and they're all everyday things that parents can do.
Mm. What about people with the attitude of Chris on the text line? He's just sent me a text. Stacey, kids are lazy these days. They use their phones as their calculators. We often get this, kids don't want to learn, or they're lazy, they're relying on technology too much. What do you say to that as the boss of the department which is teaching them?
Technology's got a place. Technology is really important, and we need to make sure that our students can use technology. But with things like this quick automatic mental arithmetic, it's really important for learning. And even when students get to beyond school and in the workplace, even if they've got a little scribble pad so that they can do a multiplication, or indeed they've got their phone, that might be one thing that might be a thing that people do. But for their learning, it's really important that they have this automatic response. That they've got these quick facts that come to mind, because when they're thinking about more complex things later, like area, where they have to multiply 2 numbers, then I want them to be able to deal with the idea of area and the multiplication just to come really quickly, not to stop and think about, what's the answer to that, but to have it just there in their heads. It's really important for their future learning. And so I want them to have it just for their learning, if not for in their lives. Because we know that literacy and numeracy are really important for employment, getting a good job, a job that pays well. But numeracy in particular, if you have extra numeracy, if you can build on your numeracy and get higher levels of numeracy in mathematics, that can really help people to get higher value jobs and to kind of help people to be the kind of person, do the kind of job that they want to be. And we can trace that all the way back to year 2, 3 and 4, when they've got those automatic, very quick multiplication facts, and then everything that's built on from there up to that point where they're getting a job, they're training, they're getting their next job. So I think it's fundamentally important for children to learn these things.
Speaking of technology, this is a little bit off topic, but it's been in the news headlines this afternoon, and I think it would be remiss of me not to ask you, as the Chief Executive of the Education Department. There's a former student in court today. He's been charged with Commonwealth charges, 20 of them, including 12 counts of using a carriage service. So this is in regards to allegedly sharing deepfake sexual images of a teenage girl and spreading them online. In regards to digital safety, are our kids in schools learning about this? Because this isn't something that had to be taught when I was in school. We didn't have we didn't have deep fakes. That wasn't an issue then, but it clearly is now. Is that something the department is considering and looking at and teaching kids about on all the online facilities available to them now?
Yeah, so our students learn at different times during their schooling. They'll learn about appropriate and safe use of online and how important that is, and the ways in which people might try and manipulate them online, and that's super important for child safety. So they learn that. We also have our respectful relationships work and curriculum, and in that about what's appropriate behaviours, and clearly this is incredibly inappropriate and indeed criminal behaviour that we're talking about here. And so students learn about that. And then, of course, in public education in South Australia, we have EdChat, our AI that's available to high school students. And one of the reasons that we introduced that, we think it's really important for students to be able to have skills in using that technology, but also it's a safe space, so it won't allow students to do things like that within our AI. I want students using our internal AI rather than some of those tools that are out there that don't have the same kinds of controls.
Okay. All right. Well, that's comforting to know. And yeah, I guess it's a different world these days, so we do need to be teaching kids about online safety as well as physical safety and times tables. It all comes into it.
Absolutely.
All right, Martin Westwell, thanks for your time today.
Thanks, Stacey.
The Chief Executive of the Education Department there. 8223 0000 is the number to call to have your say. Rob in Clearview has sent me a text. Stacey, if I have 5 cupcakes and you want 2, how many do I have? The answer is 5 cupcakes. Mine. Thank you, Rob. Well done. Appreciate it. 8223 0000 is the number to call. And stay listening. Up next, you might have an opportunity to win some Fringe tickets.
At Coles, earn 5 bonus cookware credits when you buy the Saturday Advertiser, Sunday Mail or the Weekend Australian and scan your Flybuys in-store only. Limit of 5 credits per day. Available 28 Feb to 1 March at Coles supermarkets. Exclusions and T's and C's apply.
They say one of life's biggest decisions is buying a home. But sometimes the hardest one is leaving it. At Anglicare SA, we're here to help you stay where you belong, at home. We offer support for everyday things like cleaning, gardening, cooking, but are also experts in care management, allied health, and clinical nursing. Because we believe there's no place like home. Let us help you stay where your heart is. Find out more at Anglicare SA. You are at home.
Listen to that. Wow. No traffic, no rush, just space. Out here, there's room to breathe. And the moments you didn't expect become the ones you remember. The Northern Territory. Road trip differently.
This month at Paradise Motors Omoda JQ, get $3,000 off the J7, J7 SHS, J8 and Omoda 9. But hurry, this offer ends February 28. Book a test drive today and experience luxury and power up close. Discover the breathtaking Omoda 9 SHS, rugged yet refined JQ J7 SHS, the versatile JQ J8 and the all-new JQ J5 EV. New and demo vehicles are in stock and ready for delivery. Visit Paradise Motors Omoda JQ at the Grove Shopping Centre. Your next journey starts now. T's and C's apply. MVD 352106.
I'll get it. Dave, let me guess. Your power's out and you'd like to charge your phones.
How did you know?
Just lucky, I guess. Oh, and half the street is here doing the same. Come in, mate.
Dave, you too.
With Solar Power Direct Home Battery Storage, life goes on, even when the power's out.
Now, who's up for a cuppa?
Yes, please.
solarpowerdirect.com.au.
This state election, it's a fit in with you thing, with more ways to vote than ever. Enrol today or check your enrolment at ecsa.sa.gov.au. Voting, it's a good thing. Authorised by M. Sherry, Electoral Commissioner, Adelaide, South Australia.
Insights from SA Best's Connie Benares. What does the balance of power mean?
It's the magic number the government needs to make or break a deal.
Connie, why is it important for your party, SA Best, to have a seat in Parliament?
You insure your home, you insure your car, you insure your health. Your upper house vote ensures your democracy. When things go wrong, independents and minor parties are the ones who fix it. The upper house exists to scrutinise. If one party controls everything, it just doesn't work.
Authorised by C. Benares, 7169 Unley Road, Unley, SA 5061. Published by SA Best.
5AA Afternoons with Stacey Lee.
25 minutes past 3 here on 5AA. Taking your calls now, 8223 0000. Do you have some thoughts on that interview with the Chief Executive of the Education Department saying kids are taught times tables in schools just in a different way to the way they were previously taught, not sitting there memorising their times tables? Wendy says, it sounds very complicated. I learnt the old way. I'm 84 and I can recall it so quickly, all the times tables we were taught from a very early age. Also, the size of our classes were often never less than 45 or 48 children. We all, without exception, knew our tables. I still use them. Wendy, that's a big class. I didn't realise that. So it seems to be a trend to smaller and smaller classes. Thank you for that. Justin here, absolute rubbish. My son is in year 8 and barely knows his 5 times tables. It's taken us getting him external math tutoring for the last 6 months to get him up to about year 6 or 7 level. Again with the 6-7. It's so bad. I can't help it now. For a kid with 2 full-time working parents, why is it up to us to get them to practice? The bloody teachers should be doing 99% of the teaching, not me. No wonder why the majority of kids are being left behind. That's Justin on the text line. Yeah. I mean, my daughter's not that old yet. I'm sure when she's in school I'll have very strong views. But I don't know if it is. Is it totally on teachers? Is education of kids these days 100% on teachers, or do parents have to take some responsibility and play a role as well? It was always a bit equal in my house. We would do our lessons at school and then we'd come home and we'd sit at the dining table while we were doing our homework with either mum or dad. And yeah, life's busy. I know both parents are working these days. It's hard to keep up. It's hard to find the time. Is there some shared responsibility though? Or am I out of touch? Should it be just fully reliant on the schools? 8223 0000 is the number to call. Rosie said, Rosie enjoyed that interview, said the chief educator was refreshingly helpful and has given me more hope. Thank you for that, Rosie. All right. 8223 0000 is the number to call now. If you've got some thoughts on times tables, or if you'd like to head to Fringe, I'm giving both of them away. I've got a double pass to go and see Gasher at Gluttony and a double pass to go and see Murder She Didn't Write. So get on the phone now if you'd like to head down to Gluttony as part of the Fringe. You can get tickets online now at gluttony.net.au. Faye is in Windsor Gardens, and Faye, you've got something to add about times tables. Hello.
Yes. How are you, Stacey?
Good.
I hope you're keeping well.
Doing well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, dear.
Good.
Kids learning their timetables or not learning their timetables, as we're talking on this occasion. I'm 76. I learned from the old way and as many others. And, it's good to learn the timetables because and when I went to school, I had to learn what it was to remember. And I think, with all the technology, while it's good to have these sorts of things these days, but, at the end of the day, your mental arithmetic and that, which I hated, but I had to learn anyway. But I think if you're going to be working in a shop in future years, the children of the day that are coming through now, it seems it's going to be very illiterate. I'm sorry to have to say this, but that's how I see it anyway. And I'm surprised that schools are not even teaching the kids of today their times tables. And we should know about the other way of how they are teaching the kids their times tables. We should know.
No, well, I appreciate the call, Faye. Thank you. Just to clarify, though, the kids are learning their times tables. That's what the head of the education department said. They're just not learning it in the same way maybe you and I were taught at school. It's a different way. So, yes, thank you. Karen on the text line as well says, I don't think they should get rid of times tables, and it is up to teachers to teach, and then it's up to the parents to help practice it. Thank you, Karen. Margaret is in St Mary's. Hi, Margaret.
Oh, hi, Stacey. I only just switched on the radio, so I haven't heard much of the prior. So I'm early 70s, and every morning when my dad was shaving in the bathroom, and my bedroom was right next door to the bathroom, I had to recite my times table while he was shaving every day. And as a parent, he was fantastic that way. Admittedly, he was a primary school teacher, but and also my children are early 40s now, 2 children, and I bought times tables tapes, or they were cassette tapes then, with the times tables in to music, where that helped them. So I think there's a big responsibility on parents that they should do it. You can't expect teachers to do everything. And my two children became teachers. One isn't now and one is.
Oh.
And so I see the huge work that teachers put in after hours. Huge. I didn't even see my daughter on the weekend because she was doing all the catching up, with her schoolwork, and she's only a part-time teacher. So parents should have some responsibility, teaching them lots of things, teaching them don't litter, don't do this, don't do that. People expect so much of teachers these days, and if people don't respect the teachers, we will lose them to the system.
Yeah, you make some great points there, Margaret. I know there's a lot of teachers who would feel exactly the same as that. Thank you for your call. 8223 0000 is the number. Time for the 3:30 news headlines now, and then after that you're going to hear from the CEO of Port Adelaide about the new development that's going to start in the Port Adelaide area. It's going to be called Alberton Square. 8223 0000.
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Good afternoon, Mel Usher with the 3:30 headlines. One Nation leader Pauline Hanson has denounced violence against politicians after threats were made against the Prime Minister's life. Analysts believe the chance of another interest rate hike is not out of the question as inflation remains stubbornly high. Martin Short has postponed his comedy tour of the US after the death of his 42-year-old daughter. And in sport, Bailey Smith has been sidelined for Geelong's practice match against Carlton tonight with a calf injury. The 5AA forecast, sunny this afternoon, mostly sunny tomorrow, 32. Right now it's 28 degrees. We'll have more news at 4 on 5AA, always Adelaide.
5AA News is Adelaide's news leader, and in 2026, we're adding to the lineup.
This is going to be a hot topic.
Fresh to the 5AA Breakfast News team, Kate Collins.
We'll have all of the details as they come to hand this morning.
First with the news for Adelaide, with the names you trust. Jess Adamson, Matthew Pantelis, Tom Wren, along with David and Will for the very latest. 5AA's leading breakfast news lineup, now with Kate Collins on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Experience the GAN in 2027 on a brand new northbound adventure with Journey Beyond and Phil Hoffman Travel. Enjoy 4 days of all-inclusive style and off-train experiences through the heart of Australia, including the iconic Flinders Ranges, Red Centre and Tropical North. From $3,390 per person Gold Twin. Save up to $500 per person. Phil Hoffman Travel. Visit pht.com.au.
That feeling of a crowd rising up as one as the footy soars in the air. That feeling of a hushed stadium erupting into a roar. If you feel it, you're in on it. Get your 2026 Toyota AFL Premiership season tickets today.
There's your mark of the year.
Get in on it at tickets.afl.
If you're after legendary reliability and safety,
get a Toyota forklift.
Yep, Toyota is still the world's #1 forklift brand, famous across just about every industry for their reliability and safety. That's the Toyota Forklift Advantage. And with great electric options and branches all over the country, find the right Toyota forklift for you at toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Don't just get a forklift, get a Toyota forklift.
Hi, we're 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Are you the magic people?
We're here to make your junk disappear. Oh, you have a good pointing finger.
This is fun. Look at that stuff go. I should have done this years ago. Wow, I never knew how big this house was.
We're happy to help. Hey, you there, listening to the radio. Give us a call at 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.au.
You can rent a little, you can rent
Adelaide.
Business too small to be noticed by those global car rental companies? Well, you can rely on Red Spot to look after you. We love renting to small businesses because we used to be one. We're the only Aussie family-owned car rental company in airport terminals and cities across Australia. And right now, Red Spot is giving you spot-on savings of 15% off every vehicle at every location. Book direct and save at redspot.com.au/radio. T's and C's apply.
Red Spot.
Introducing the Caliente by Beechwood Homes. A multi-level masterpiece of design, innovation and style. Inspired by the effortless glamour of Palm Springs in California, it's bathed in natural light through clever architectural design. At its heart, a stunning 6-metre island bench anchors a kitchen that's as beautiful as it is functional. The Caliente is open for viewing at 10 Simon Crescent, Craigburn Farm, Saturdays and Sundays 1 to 4:30 p.m. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
Always live. 5AA. Always Adelaide. 5AA Afternoons with Stacey Lee.
Let's find out a little bit more about the development announced by the Port Adelaide Football Club. It's going to be called Alberton Square, and over a number of years the club has been acquiring homes in the area, 26 properties, I believe. Matthew Richardson is the CEO of the Port Adelaide Footy Club and joins you now. Good afternoon, Matthew Richardson. Thanks for your time.
Good afternoon, Stacey. Thanks for having me on the program.
So this is really exciting. When Koshi announced this on the Brecky Show with Dave and Will this morning, there were so many questions that Dave and Will had, and I think we all had following the announcement. This must be, as I say, years in the making. 26 properties have been acquired.
Yeah, that's right. It is as you said, it's a really exciting project for the club. It's future thinking. Our board, going back 4 years, had a strategy workshop where our first goal was to pay down our historical debt, and that goal was to 2025. But we wanted to think beyond that and think beyond debt reduction. And we did a lot of research looking at different sporting organisations around the world, and what we saw was that the clubs that were, really the innovative, powerfully financial clubs had diversified their business models. So, sport revenue can fluctuate based on the ups and downs of what happens on field. And what we saw was those innovative clubs around the world had used the real estate around their either stadiums or training facilities and created really unique precincts which are multi-use and capitalise on the facilities that are already in place. And so if you think about Alberton Oval, Port Adelaide's been here since 1880. It's been a really important part of the community. We've been developing it over the last 5 years. And we had an opportunity directly opposite the club because the club already owned the car park land, which was 4,000 square metres of that land. And really the idea was if over time we could acquire the properties through to Port Road and be able to open Alberton Oval through to Port Road, what could we do with that land that would, one, add value to the facilities and the community facilities and the high-performance centre at Alberton Oval, but also if you think the other way, what are the types of businesses, and it would make sense to be connected to a high-performance sports precinct. So that's really where the idea came from. As we moved along, it probably went it certainly went a bit quicker than we were expecting. And part of that was because as we started to investigate the scale of the opportunity made more and more sense. So, here we are 3 years later. We've been able to acquire the property through to Port Road. So there's 2 blocks of houses there that, and now what we do now is we move into the next stage, which is really about the planning and consultation, which will take another sort of 12 or 18 months as we start to investigate what's possible on that land.
So I see you've got some concept designs that have been done, and we've got them on our live stream now if anyone wants to jump on Facebook or YouTube to check them out. Is that the plan at this stage? How many stories high is it going to be, or is that still subject to change?
Yeah, that'll be subject to a range of things. We now move into a planning a planning process where we'll lodge a code amendment with Planning SA, the state government, in late March, early April, and that will be about rezoning that land in order to develop the site. But given it's a big site, it's 20,000 square metres. It's connected to a high performance sports precinct, as I said before. It's got a main road frontage, and strategically, it's in a really significant location. If you think about the regeneration of Port Adelaide, what's happening down at Osborne with the AUKUS development. So it opens up a whole range of possibilities, and especially when you connect it, and that was really our vision, is we could have gone and done a property development anywhere, but we were very strong on the fact that we've invested significantly at Alberton Oval. Alberton Oval is a really vibrant, high-performance sport community precinct. How do we expand that precinct and include, there's commercial space there. There'll be increased public realm, parks. So it becomes a fantastic community facility, but also then there's the opportunity for residential. And as you can see, as some of those concept drawings, the residential and the height will be centralised along Port Road is what is proposed, which is consistent with the state government's 30-year future plan around, starting to utilise some of those major transport corridors to increase housing density.
Right, okay. And Koshy said this morning on the Brecky show that there'd be around 300 apartments. How will that work? Are they going to be up for sale, or will they be rentals? Are you going to be the landlord of these apartments?
Well, we will move that. That will be part of this next process. We're not going to be able to, we'll be looking for development partners to work with us on this project. Our aim is, one of the aims of the project is to develop an ongoing revenue stream. So yes, rental income, whether that be from commercial rents or residential, will be part of it. But given the scale of what might be possible on that site, that's not something we're going to need partners that we're going to do that with, and that will be part of this next process that we step into in the coming months.
Okay. Sorry, just trying to get my head around it. Does that mean you're not sure yet if the apartments will be up for the residential side of things? Will they be up for sale, or will they just be, but will they be rented out to people?
Yeah, well, I think there'll be a mix of all of that, Stacey,
right,
once we get through that planning phase. I mean, ultimately, what we want to do is we want to work with all the stakeholders, the community. There are commercial outcomes that the club wants to drive, and there are also residential outcomes. It's a big site. It's in a great location. It's connected to Alberton Oval, so it just expands the Alberton Oval footprint. So it creates a very unique footprint and campus, if you like, and all of those things you talk about will be included in that precinct.
And you mentioned development partners. Do you have anyone who's going to build it yet?
No, not yet. And that, as I explained, now we move into that next stage. There'll be consultation. We've got a member information night coming up on the 16th of March, and there'll be a community consultation information night on the 23rd of March. So that, as we move into this next phase, this is a big project. It'll take a number of years. And there's a whole lot of steps that we need to work through. But, what we've presented today to our members is, a vision for what that precinct could become. And, it is something that, we're working with the AFL. The AFL are a really important partner. They're starting to work with other clubs. They've got an investment fund that's available for, their loan funds, really importantly, to start to, clubs are starting to think about the business models where, traditionally our assets, we've got great high performance facilities, but the problem with those facilities is, one, they don't generate revenue, and two, they actually depreciate in value over time because, the reality is probably in 15 or 20 years we knock it down and we build it again because it's not fit for purpose, whereas the difference in what we're creating here at Alberton Square is it'll be a commercial assets, that generate revenue, and therefore the value of those assets actually go up over time. So we're starting to change the business model, and that's something the AFL, we've been working closely with the AFL for a number of years, and they're very supportive.
I know whenever there's a big development or a new apartment building going up, local residents always want to know about green spaces. Will you incorporate some parks and easily accessible green spaces for people?
Absolutely. And I think, again, one of the features of this development, there's already significant green space if you think about Albion Oval, the reserve at the back, and all of that will actually become linked up. So even in the new space, there'll be public realm, there'll be plaza areas. We're going to widen Brougham Place off Port Road, so it becomes a real entrance. There'll be, walkways and statues with the history of the club. So it becomes a real, activated space, and as you'll hear us say, at Alberton Square, it's going to be a great place to live, work, and play.
You mentioned probably around 12 months for consultation. Do you have a timeline past that yet? Do you know when you'll be able to, or a projection for when you'll be able to start building?
No, we'll step into that. That process is prescribed through state government and the state planning process. So we'll step into that process. We're hopeful that planning phase will take, around about 12 months. And then in that time, we'll also be starting to talk to, potential partners and development partners around, how we progress and fund the project beyond the planning phase.
Now, can I lobby you, Matthew Richardson, CEO of Port Adelaide, for a name change? Because I've got a great one.
Oh, yes. I've had a couple of suggestions today.
All right, here we go. Alberton Square, it's okay. It's all right, I think. Maybe a bit beige. I think we should call it Ginevra Grove.
Ginevra Grove.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, is Tim sitting behind you or to your left shoulder? I think I can feel him coming through. Well, I'll give you a little bit of historical context. I like Ginevra Grove.
Okay.
But I'll give you some historical context around Alberton Square. So Alberton, when it was master planned in 1870, ironically, there were 5 squares in the district, which were parks. There's only 2 of those squares remaining. So part of the inspiration behind Alberton Square is actually returning more green space and open space to the community, which was Alberton was actually, as a suburb and a district, was a master planned community back in the 1800s. So that's where the nod to the history of the area is part of the working title of the name. But Ginevra Grove, I like it. We'll feed that into the mix.
All right, great, thank you. He's embedded in the history as well, so it makes sense. It ties in.
Well, maybe one of those statues down Brougham Place, although we might need a little bit more bronze in some parts of Tim's anatomy.
I'm going to leave that one alone and move on very quickly. Helen on the text line would like to know if there'll be aged care provided. She said, I'm sure supporters would enjoy spending their latter years close to the club.
Look, I think given the scale of the site and all of those opportunities are definitely possible.
All right. And this is not a question from me as a Port supporter, but will there be an apartment 119? Or will we avoid
I think that will be a blank number in whichever apartment building we build.
Yeah, fair enough. I think that's a good idea. All right. Matthew Richardson, thanks for your time this afternoon.
Great. Thank you.
CEO of the Port Adelaide Football Club there. What do you think? What should we rename it? 8223 0000. I like Ginevra Grove. I think that's a fun one. All right. This person on the text line, knocking down 26 houses in a housing crisis, not a good look. I guess it kind of changes that argument when they'll be replaced with 300. If we're talking purely numbers of houses available, you'd probably pick 300 over 26 right now, wouldn't you? 8223 0000 is the number to call to have your say. What do you think about this development? Do you like the name, Alberton Square? Take your calls.
When your child is sick, you shouldn't have to wait weeks to see a GP. That's why Family First will fight to see more local doctors trained, so you and your family can see a doctor when you need one. Family First will take the pressure off your family's health.
Vote 1, Family First.
Authorised by Lyle Shelton, Family First Party, Norwood.
Adelaide's local, trusted and truly connected talkback radio station. 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Heading to the Caravan and Camping Show? Make sure you swing past and say g'day to the TJM crew. They're in the Wavell Pavilion, stand W11, with 20% off everything TJM. Grab a Rhino Rack platform and score a free light bar, plus spend $120 or more, and you'll go into the draw to win 2 mountain bikes worth $2,000. Upgrading an American truck or need towing solutions, TJM's got you covered at the Caravan and Camping Show, Feb 25th to March the 1st.
Time to Pixter. Around 70% of serious dental problems start in the gaps between teeth. Pixters clean those gaps like floss, only easier. Keep by your toothbrush and use daily. Have you Pixtered today?
A year of roadside assistance is now included with eligible NRMA car insurance policies in South Australia, whether you're a new customer or an existing customer renewing your policy, because that's what a help company would do. Renew your eligible policy or get a quote today at nrma.com.au/SA roadside. SA risk addresses only. Excludes CTP and classic car insurance. Offer may be withdrawn at any time. Always read the PDS. PDS and T&Ds available from NRMA Insurance. 12 months of everyday care, roadside assistance provided by National Roads and Motorists Association Limited. Trading as NRMA. Separate and independent from NRMA Insurance.
That's right, Mannix is the one-stop air conditioning shop. We can design, supply and install the right air conditioning system to meet your needs. Plus, we have Adelaide's biggest range of cash and carry units and spare parts at our warehouse sales outlets at unbeatable prices. Public and the trade are welcome at any of our 5 big locations. After 60 years, people trust Mannix. Get a free quote in-store or online.
Mazda's 2025 play clearance is on now. Don't miss incredible drive-away deals across select 2025 models. Take on the toughest terrain in the top-of-the-range Mazda BT50 SP. Now from $68,990 drive away. Or get the job done with the worksite-ready BT50 XT 4x4 dual cab from $55,990 drive away. Hurry into your local dealership before they're gone. Price to clear and ready to move. The Mazda play clearance is on now. Terms, conditions and exclusions apply. See Mazda.com.au for details.
RDNS is now called Silver Chain, but that's all that's changing. There's still the same friendly faces, same in-home health and aged care you trust, and same not-for-profit values. Because some things will never change at Silver Chain.
Phil Hoffman Travel and Cosmos Tours invite you to discover Britain and Europe for less. Experience the 8-night Irish Discovery Tour from $2,349 per person twin share, with dramatic coastlines, lush landscapes, vibrant cities and medieval towns. Travel with expert tour directors, hand-picked hotels and all breakfasts are included. Plus, save up to $500 per couple on selected 2026 tours. Phil Hoffman Travel. Visit pht.com.au.
5AA Afternoons with Stacey Lee.
7 minutes to 4 here on 5AA. Congratulations to Jane in Clapham. You have won the tickets to go and see Murder, She Didn't Write at the Adelaide Fringe, and Tony in Walker Heights, you're off to see Gasher. Well done to you. Asking for your name suggestions this afternoon. What do you think they should call the new development in Port Adelaide? It's currently got the name Alberton Square. Even just a street. What do you think we should name the streets inside the development? Brian is in Evanston and has called in. Hello, Brian.
How are you, all right?
Good, how are you?
Now, all my years at Port Adelaide, there's only one name, Ebert Gardens.
Ebert Gardens. Oh, I like that. No, it sounds green. It sounds lush.
Yeah, and it sounds just like Russell Ebert. How's it going?
Perfect. Love your work, Brian. Thank you.
See you. Take care.
See you. That's Brian in Evanston. I suggested Geneva Grove, and Timmy Geneva joins me in the studio. What did you think of that?
I loved Richo's answer when he said, is he sitting behind you? It was almost, he's threatening you to say.
You weren't, though, just for the record.
No, I wasn't, but it did make me laugh. Look,
Caesar said call it Stacey's Street.
Oh, wow. That sounds good.
Thank you, Caesar.
Very nice. But the idea and the concept, and it's purely a concept at this stage, because you've got to now go to the planning stage.
Planning
and the like.
approval, yeah.
Yeah, so it's the old story. You've got the artist designs now. It might not end up looking anything like that, the light, but it is a mixture of, and we've seen, I live down west, of course, right near Alberton, but you drive up Port Road. Port Road's changing completely. And what was a lot of single sort of storied businesses and the like are all being taken down, and 3 to 4 story sort of buildings are being built along Port Road now. So this will just continue as it goes down Commercial Road towards the heart of the port. This will just be built like that, as is what is happening all the way Port Road. So it's just going to be in sync with what's happening there, and then the other bits and pieces will actually make it a really good area. Love the fact that Richo mentioned about the history of it.
Yeah.
That back in the planning of Alberton in 1870 was we're going to have this big square.
Squares,
and
yeah.
so here we are 150 odd years later. We're actually going to put that together. So obviously Alberton Oval was created for the Port Adelaide Football Club, and now we're going to have the square all these years later. So, I like the idea. And
me too.
I think you made the great point there where 26 houses acquired, and if there's anywhere near 300 apartments, well, we've sort of more than adequately assisted in some more housing options.
Yeah, which, like the club keeps saying, especially in that area with the AUKUS submarines contract, they'll be needing housing down there. So, it's a good concept. The beauty of it is it's about sustainability for footy clubs and for Port, who have always sort of battled. And I heard Koshy this morning just saying, one of the things he would love when he leaves that chair is to make sure we never go broke again. It's a great call because we've had many financial challenges through our history that you get a little bit sick and tired of, and I think this is going to be an exceptional way of having an ongoing income that you don't have to go and rattle a can for, or just go berserk because you lost 5,000 members because you had a bad year. So this is giving you a passive income. And through I think he said some rental, residential, some commercial, and the like, and maybe some from sale. So that would be a great ongoing income that is required, because you don't want to be relying upon the AFL or anybody else again. No. I love the idea that if Port Adelaide's going to be renting out some of the apartments, that you'll have to you'll get Koshy or Matthew Richardson chasing you up for your rent. You'd be too scared to fall behind on your rent.
No, we always employ Moose and Rocco. You never say no to them. Big show tonight. We've got a Where Are They Now for Walco. It's a huge one. You may have heard the NFL coming to play a game for points in Australia for the first time. 49ers versus LA Rams. So we've got a 49ers legend on, Steve Young, who he's a Hall of Famer, you name it. He came just after Joe Montana, but they sort of did cross over. So I'm keen to find out what the relationship was, because he sort of took his place as quarterback. So that'll be interesting. Ben Keys from the Adelaide Football Club about their season going ahead. He's vice-captain again. Dan Collis is actually coming on. He's the guy behind the Final Siren inside the AFL, which is a prime documentary that's coming out Friday night. And that gets released, and it's a bit like Drive to Survive and the other ones that they've done. I think it's called Box to Box that they do these docos, and it's the insight behind the characters and it's all based pretty fresh, late around about round 15 onwards of the AFL. So
did they do that a couple of years ago?
They did something, but this is more in the mode of Drive to Survive.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to interview him about the end product, and it gets released on Friday. All happening.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it. A couple of very last-minute ones. No Crow Grove, says John. This is what we're naming Alberton Square. Power Circuit, says Steve. Maritime Muse, says Mark. Power Park, says Tom. I love it. Keep them coming. I'm sure Rowie and Timmy G would love to see your suggestions. And they're on after this news bulletin with Mel Usher. I'll talk to you at 1 o'clock tomorrow.
Coming up next, Adelaide's only